What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 124 of Park to Prem here with Town or Town. Today, there's loads of stuff going on, a lot to talk about, and we start on the profile of Thiago Ulisses, because he has joined us. Yes, January has arrived, and so have the youngsters that we've been agreeing to sign. So, excited to see him. Of course, we are going to be referring to him as just useless, and well, right now that name feels quite fitting, because he's out for the next month with a sports hernia. I am a little bit worried about injury proneness with this guy. It wasn't anything that was flagged by our scouts, but, well, I did the thing that I'm sure you can relate to. You're checking up on that young player who you're waiting to come of age to join your squad. I did it on him a couple of months ago, and I realised that he had a lower back stress fracture, so that was not ideal. Out for 6 weeks with that, and now he's got injured again. Oh no, maybe he is going to be useless by nature and not just by name. Either way, he looks really well-rounded. I think he could be very, very good for us. Of course, it is January, so we have been delving into the transfer market a little. Let's talk about it, shall we? So on the outs, we have had a few players leave us to start the month. McFarland has left us, just a product of the youth academy who never really made it. We just gave him away because he was just taking away attention from the more talented players in training. You know, we've kicked him out of the classroom so that the rest of the kids can get a bit more focus on them. Similar with Kochi here, 20 years old. Yes, he's a Kosovoan international. He looks okay. He had a lot of potential. I don't see him ever really fulfilling it. He's never going to play for us, is kind of the issue. So he has gone to Sheffield Wednesday for a few £100,000. And last but not least, Maggi, with perhaps the greatest magic trick that he's ever done as the magician, has vanished for £20 million. So I feel like that's crazy money to get. I couldn't turn it down. He's our fifth choice centre-back. We're laughing all the way to the bank, and we will hopefully look to invest that at some point over the next month. On the ins, we have had, some youngsters join us. Already mentioned, obviously, useless. A few others worth mentioning are Taya, the Mexican forward. I really like this guy a lot. He doesn't have a work permit, so we probably need to ship him off to Kukuriki. Yeah, off you go, mate. Right, he's going to join the rest of the crew. If you were wondering, by the way, because I realise it is something that I should probably talk about a little bit more. We have had some good results so far from our youngsters going away to Kukuriki. I'm now trying to think of the best way to get to the affiliate screen. But yeah, if we look at our Serbian friends, they're currently third in their league. Nanuel Pizarro, who of course was one of our big exciting prospects, who is still being paid £60,000 a week by us. He is their key player. He's doing okay, 6 goals, 2 assists. I mean, they're third in their league. They've got a lot of our players on loan. I don't believe there's a limit on the amount of players that a club can have on loan from us in Serbia. So who knows, maybe there'll be a few more being shipped off. Either way, good to see them getting some regular first team football. Maybe some of them will come back amazingly well developed. I realise something I've not talked about a great deal is affiliates, and that's because in the last couple of months I have been getting some new affiliates on the go. You can see back in September we negotiated an agreement with 1860 Munich where we are going to be sharing their youth facilities in terms of their youth recruitment. So every so often we might get a little German kid pop up in our youth intake courtesy of their academy. They of course play in the second tier of Germany. They have amazing youth facilities, really good youth recruitment. Hopefully this can develop into a really nice, mutually beneficial relationship in which we just steal all their best players. That would be my mutually beneficial. I'm not sure they would agree. We have also got Western Sydney Wanderers. Now this is one I agreed in the summer. Really should have talked about it really, but similar thing. They can send academy players to us to gain experience, and we may benefit with some of their young prospects coming through our ranks. So yeah, keep an eye on it. Obviously, nice to have an Australian partner. I have a soft spot for having an Australian regen or two in my team. Of course, if you watch the Gibraltar series, you know all about Paul Smith. I would love another Paul Smith. And yeah, Western Sydney Wanderers, they've got good youth facilities and they've got exceptional youth recruitment as well. So who knows, over the next few years, maybe there'll be a few little German and Australian boys popping up in our team. Obviously, we've also got Crew just for sending players out on loan, and Kukurici, which I realise I'm not saying correctly. I'm sorry to my Serbian viewers because I know that you get really annoyed. Languages are hard, okay? It's really difficult, and I can't stress this enough. I'm signing players from all around the world. People are telling me the specific grammatical rules of how to say the names of the places that they're from, because obviously if you're from Serbia or indeed pretty much anywhere in Eastern Europe, you probably have a pretty good idea of how to say some of the names that I'm just butchering. But unfortunately, I just can't remember all the lettering rules. It's a nightmare. I struggle with English, folks, so it's always going to be difficult. We have got a few other players going out. Allie Mclean is going to be heading off to Stoke, hopefully, for £5 million. We signed him a few years ago for £2 million from Bristol City. Never made a mark on the first team. Hasn't really developed. But you know what? We're going to make almost, 3 times our money on him. So I'm pretty content with that as a bit of transfer business. And of course, this just feeds into this whole mindset of, bringing in players for cheap, looking to sell them on for a little bit of money. Cancina has also joined us, which is very exciting. He doesn't have a work permit like Pizarro. However, FC Porto came along and were like, yeah, we'll take him on loan for the year. So thank you, FC Porto. I'm not sure what the rules are actually with nationality gathering and gaining in Portugal. I'm sure one of you guys can explain it to me in the comments. I have a sneaking suspicion it might be like Spain. If you don't know, in Spain, I think it's South American nationalities can pick up Spanish nationality in 2 years. I think it's a similar thing here in Portugal. So with that in mind, let's hope that Cancina, can benefit from that, because he looks absolutely nuts at 18 years old. If he's playing regular first-team football for Porto, that suits me down to a T. I'm not going to complain one little bit about that. We did have a few other players join us in January, but we'll get familiar with them as they break into the first team. I should point out, we signed a player from Tractor SC in Iran. There is a football team in Iran called Tractor. I mean, my life feels better knowing that they exist. And hopefully it enriches your life as well, knowing that Tractor FC are around. I talked about affiliates before. We have just agreed, hopefully, touch wood, it's not official yet, another affiliate, which is going to be Coventry City. I asked the board if we could get one in a slightly higher division than Crew. We have had Coventry City granted. They currently sit top of League One. There's a few players who I've got on loan at Crew this year who probably should be playing at a higher level, so I think I'm going to recall them and hopefully send them over to Coventry, who look like they could get promoted to the Championship. And, I feel like having an affiliate in the Championship could just be really, really beneficial. On top of that, Coventry have really good facilities, they have a really good squad personality, and they have a Heskey up top. I mean, what more could you want from an affiliate, everyone? I don't think there's more that you could ask for, is there really? Anyway, since you were last here, we've played 3 matches. I was originally going to have a a triple header today. However, the football scheduling gods have ruined that for us all, so you can blame them. Unfortunately, the Liverpool game that we were also going to do today has been moved out. So with that in mind, we're just going to do the 2 Manchester games today. Away from home against Man City, and then at home against Manchester United, who of course we beat last episode, and that was the last game you were here for. Since then, we've played 3 matches, the first of which was a win against Wolves. Not the most convincing of results, but Jackie Ogier, the centre-back, he just seems to turn up in the right place at the right time. Got a lovely little goal here for us. It was the difference maker before half-time. We then took on Chelsea, who knocked us out the EFL Cup. They beat us in the league. So what was going to happen when we played them in the FA Cup? Well, they got revenge for last year when we knocked them out in the semi-finals. They beat us 2-0 here. You can see, looking at the clear-cut and half chances in the bottom left, it wasn't a classic. I can't pretend it was the best game ever. You didn't really miss a great deal. And, I mean, it's a shame not to go further in the FA Cup, but at the same time, I feel like the league has to be our focus this year, and as we shifted our focus back to the league, we looked quite good against Derby County. A 3-1 win against them, all 3 of our goals coming in the first half. The first was a Dylan Turnbull header, courtesy of the Leskinen cross into the box. Shvetsov then scored from the penalty spot, and in the 48th minute, right at the end of the first half, Jackie Ogier, again, he's like a fox in the box, this man. He's the centre-back with the attacking instinct of a striker to be in the right place at the right time. He tucked it away. They did get a goal through Jovovic late on in the game. I have to look at Morrigan and say you've made an absolute howler of collecting the ball there. However, ultimately it didn't cost us. We won 3-1. And let's have a look at where this league table lies, because this is really big actually, this episode. So today, to start things off, we're going to be playing against Manchester City. Now, it's worth noting that ourselves and Manchester City are currently first and second outright. Whoever wins this game really goes into a great position at the top of the table. Of course, following on from that Man City game, we are going to be taking on Manchester United. They currently trail us by 4 points, but they have got a game in hand. So, I mean, it's two very tricky games today. These are the kind of games that if we win both of them, I will say, yes, we're going to push for a title this year. If we lose both of them, I won't be entirely surprised, and I will wholly accept, right, let's just reset mentally, shift our focus, top 4, let's get it. Either way, we can dare to dream up until the end of this episode, I feel like, about possibly winning the league. It's incredibly, incredibly close at the top, as you can see. and there is very much a gauntlet laid out in front of us. So anyway, in terms of team news, folks, I am experimenting. I mean, I say that like it's a shock. It's not really a shock, is it? But no, I am going to be trying something new here. And that's going to be to swap one of our box-to-box midfielders for McCassie, playing a ball-winning midfielder role. Now, I did see this recommended a few times in the comments in the past, and it is something that has crossed my mind with the whole McCassie problem. Obviously, we talked about it a couple of episodes ago, where would you play him? And a load of people said at wing-back, and my concern is, if we train him to play another position, it's just going to limit how good he can be at that position. If you don't know, and I'm going to explain this horrifically, but please bear with me, if you understand what I'm trying to explain but can do a better job, write it in the comments. Essentially, the way the Football Manager works is you have a current ability and a potential ability. Think of them a bit like FIFA overall ratings, but they're out of 200. And basically, a player's potential ability is their maximum ability, and the current ability is basically points that, add up. So, for example, for a centre-back, if they're really good at tackling and marking, that eats up a certain amount of the potential ability bar. Think of it like an RPG game. And basically, the more positions you train a player in, the more attributes which are considered key to the position that they play in terms of the attributes being important for that. So, as a result, the more positions a player learns, the less their overall ability can actually be. I've not explained that very well. Basically, if a player is very versatile and plays lots of positions, they can be less specialised and they can't be as good at what they're good at. So with that in mind, I don't really want to train McCassie to play another position. However, I know some people will look past the heading, but for me, I'm really struggling to. I feel like between his poor heading and his poor aggression, he's always going to struggle a little bit as a centre-back. However, I really like the idea of trying him out as a ball-winning midfielder on support. Now, again, the aggression is a bit of a problem, but he has great tackling, teamwork, work rate. I mean, his mentals on the whole are very, very good for this, and his physicals are also very good for this. I like the fact he's got comes deep to get the ball. I think that can work with our system, and so we're gonna try something new. But yeah, that's what we're going to try. We'll see if it works. If it doesn't work, you know what? I tried. I will say I didn't explain that explanation very well. If you made sense of it, you're an intelligent being. Thank you for being here. Please, someone write it more concisely. I feel like we all know what I'm talking about, but I'm not very good at formulating words and definitions on the fly when it's something a little bit complicated. I'm a visual learner, everyone. I need diagrams drawing to explain something to me. Words confuse me. Words confuse. He says, as someone who just talks into a microphone on YouTube daily, that words confuse him. Right, unfortunately, GCL is out injured. Useless is also out injured, so that's a bit of a shame there. As a result, this is the team we're going to go with. Morrigan in goalie. We had a howler last game. Let's hope he's put that behind him. At centre-backs, we are going to stick with Soretta and Auger. I know some people are not particularly wowed by Auger. I think he's been pretty solid so far. I feel like if you compare him and Soretta, their performances actually have been pretty comparable at centre-back. Let's have a quick look here. So you can see the comparison. Soretta is a better player. There is absolutely no denying that. But I feel like actually they kind of complement each other quite well. I mean, you can see there's not a great deal between them. And Auger covers more ground per 90 minutes. He's a runner. He's a trier. And I rate a trier. I wonder how much of that running is him running to do celebrations and stuff, because he has scored 4 goals this year. Anyway, in the defence, we're going to go with Aurelio and Ox. That's kind of fairly standard at this point. Leskanen at deep line playmaker, alongside Andre and McCassie. Andre, I've not really talked about him much recently. He's still one of my favourites. He's still doing very, very well. Walter talked about his kind of coming of age. It was a bit of a shame because he really found some form and then he got a long-term injury, which I was a bit sad about and I may have shed a tear for him about. However, he's back in the team now. GCL is out injured. This is his opportunity to shine. Walter, I want you to show everyone what you're capable of. As far as a kind of advanced playmakers go on attack, I mean, could you ask for anything more? I don't think you could. I don't think he'll ever be a box-to-box midfielder. I don't think he'll ever suit this part of our game just because his position, tackling and marking are just way too low. However, I don't know, I feel like he could be pushing GCL come the end of the year, really giving him a good run for his money. Of course, he's only 20 years old as well. There's a few players in our team who I think it's easy to forget how young they are. Anyway, up top, we are going to go with Shvetsov and Turnbull. Turnbull still looking absolutely fantastic. 8 goals for him in the league, 5 in 4 in the Europa League. Would like him to start banging in a few more in the league, I suppose. Shvetsov with 10. The goals, I don't want to say the goals have dried up, but it's not as high as you might expect from our goal scorers. That said, it's been a big team effort for the most part. You can see here how many people have really chipped in. I feel like I don't give Leskinen enough praise, by the way. 12 assists in 23. Now, a lot of those are set pieces, but, well, however you want to look at it, he's very, very good. I don't care if he's inconsistent. I don't care if he doesn't have good crossing or he's, got a competitive streak. He's very, very good with the ball at his feet. And as far as deep line playmakers go, he is running the game for us more often than not. Anyway, we are taking on Manchester City today. I am going to pre-warn you now, there is going to be a kit clash in 3D, unfortunately. That is because our primary away kit colour is red, not blue. Man City are going to be playing in blue here. So 2D fans, you can rejoice because we are going to have this first match in 2D for you. And I know it's exciting. Contain your excitement, everyone. We will still keep the 3D highlights on. But, well, as you'll see here, it's not ideal. So we're gonna go to 2D, everyone, and I'm sorry for it, but it has to be done, and you're gonna enjoy it. So let's see how we get on here. We're away from home. I've just realised we're away from home. I'm playing the wrong tactic. This is a little bit awkward. It's good job I'm not a real football manager. Minor thing to kind of forget about, isn't it? Getting the formation completely wrong. We'll change things up. And well, we've got a set piece to defend with here as Panico has it. Ox, have you just given away a penalty? Please say it was outside the box. He's already on a booking as well. He's already on a booking. You absolute mad lad. Okay, it's not been given, although there is a free kick here. Don't think this is the same free kick. Walker, I mean, we're just going to swarm him, are we? Oh, my word. Lucas the Chetta. I assume, I don't know why I've said that slightly Italian-y. It looks like an Italian name, doesn't it, Lucas? Now, I don't want to say we've all chased the ball there, but I will just pause the game here and point out that 5 of our players are surrounding Ashley Walker, who I will concede he's a bit of a threat for us. Can I... See, this is one of those ones where I want to blame the match engine. And I know someone's going to go, Jack, you've told them to play this way. I have absolutely not told 5 players to surround 1 man. That's not what we've done there. Also, I think there was 6 of them, actually. It was a bit like those acts, where people cram into a mini car. It's like, how many men can you get in the car? The answer is 6 men. You can get into a foot square area around Ashley Walker. Oh, that's really annoying, isn't it? That is really, really annoying. So with that in mind, we're going to get shouty. Of course we are. I am also just going to quickly tell Ox. Yeah, don't tackle harder, mate. Ease off your tackles, if anything. You're already on a booking, my friend. I need you to be well behaved at the back for us here. Anyway, I mean, it's only 1-0. We've only had 1 shot on goal as well, which is perhaps a cause for concern. But we're lethal from set pieces. And as long as we can keep it to 1 goal, we have a chance. Although Vinicius Junior doesn't care about our hope. I think it is worth just remembering everyone, reminding you all at this point, this team did win a treble last year. They did win the Premier League, the FA Cup and the Champions League. They're quite good. You feel like the danger's gone there. I mean, Morrigan, mate, are you sunbathing? It's raining, son. You're a goalkeeper. Stay on your feet. Get your hands to it. It's not that hard. To all the goalkeepers out there, I realise there is more to it than that. So please don't, please don't listen to that and feel offended. Right, they're on the attack again. We're 2 goals down. If we go a 3rd goal down, it gets to that weird situation where it's a case of, do we just play to try and limit them from scoring more and save face, or do we really go for it? That said, Volta's won it. Go on, my friend. Go on, you little Portuguese demon. Is he trying to chip the key? I mean, I rate it. I absolutely rate that from Volta there. I love that confidence to have a go. A few of our players looking anxious and frustrated. Come on, let's get refocused. McCassie, what are you... Get off the pitch, son. Get off the... Not reacting to the shouty. Of course, with the system change, he is playing as a box-to-box midfielder, which does suit him, to be clear. But I realise that is a little counterintuitive. Obviously, I've not updated both systems with the change in roles, as we have a chance, and Soretta heads it over. Few bookings being picked up. I will say now, I don't want to throw Dylan Turnbull and Shvetsov under the bus. They have been disappointing today. I'm going to take off... Do I want to take off Volta? I think I do. We're going to bring in Matasevic. So 2 new fresh centre mids coming in. And you know what? Dylan Turnbull, we are going to take you off for Palazzolo. Because I do feel like Giacomo, as far as impact subs go, he's usually quite good at having an impact. He's got just a good energy about him. He's a morale booster. Anyway, we have got a chance to deal with here as Sinelli has it out on this side. It's whipped in. That ball has not gone wide off the post by a massive margin. But we are going to be let off for now. Right, Mateus Aurelio, unleash your inner Rory Delap. Shvetsov tries to flick it on. It's dealt with, and now Ashley Walker's on it. Right, 6 of you get on him again. Come on. What we Soretta. He's going to see red. It's not gone to plan, has it? The worst thing is they've had 0 clear-cut chances and 0 half chances. I don't have a sub left. Right, Lazarus. Lazarus, my friend. Actually, this could... Can Lazarus play left back? No. Mateus, can you play left back? Kind of. I mean, it's orange. That's not kind of at all right. Ox actually can play centre-back. It's an unknown fact about him, but he is actually natural at centre-back, and that was his natural position when we first signed him. The media still consider him a centre-back, despite the fact he's not played it in 2 years. Marlon, we are going to need you to do your thing again here. I mean, it's a bit of a problem, isn't it? This situation we find ourselves in. I feel like with everything that's going on right now, it's probably best just to play conservatively rather than go on the attack, but I don't know. Let's set ourselves up to at least show some ambition going forward, I suppose. But I think at this point we kind of just have to shrug our shoulders and accept we're probably not going to come away with anything here against the champions. And unfortunately we are going to lose ground on them. Although Mateus Aurelio, I mean, he's forgotten about the ball there. And it's now with Seidel. He gets it forward to Vinicius Jr. They've got a man on the overlap here that I'm scared about. And there he is, Sinelli. Don't let him play it inside. Don't let him square it to Vinicius Jr. It's pulled to the edge of the box. Panico's there. I mean, he's put it mercifully wide of the post for us. It's a bit. I don't think it's going to do a great deal, but we're going to get shouty anyway. Look at the focused body language. The players, they now believe, yes, we can hold on for a 2-0. I'm an inspirational leader, I know. Right, Phil Foden, I dropped him from the England squad. He's probably going to score an absolute banger against us now, so brace yourself for it. He lays it back to Marcos. Now with Kai Havertz. They've got a very good team, haven't they? When they've got players like Vinicius Jr., Havertz, Ashley Walker, who we're just familiar with. Why we've not got 6 men on him, I have to question it there. I mean, oh, it's a bit of a disaster. We are not singing in the rain, are we here? We're crying in the rain. At least no one's going to see our tears. We are going to need a bit of a mental reset before the Manchester United game. The good news is we've got 10 days, I think, until that match. So plenty of time for us to rest our players. It's going to be an FA Cup weekend, I believe, coming up. So whilst everyone else is playing, our players, I'm going to sit them down and force them to rewatch the Chelsea game and then write essays on it, because that feels necessary at this point. It's not been the game that you'd hope for, has it really? Panico bringing it forward. I appreciate that we are still a man down here and I'm still trying to at least, get a goal of some kind with 2 men up top. I mean, could it come here? Could it come here? Matasevic, go on, my little Bosnian friend. Look at him go, square it, you greedy bugger. I feel like it was never really on the shot. He's not known for his blistering pace, his 13 acceleration and 13 pace, all on display there. And unfortunately, we are going to lose that game 3-0. Soretta, for the second time this year, getting sent off. That is a little bit of a cause for concern. I guess on this occasion, unlike the first time, it was just a second yellow. It was a bit of a cynical foul to stop a breakaway. He is going to be banned for 2 matches, which is a bit of a problem. I mean, he's going to miss the United game, isn't he? So we're going to have to probably bring back Douglas. He's going to be loving it. Palazzolo has not scored in 8 matches. All right, Giacomo, let's just have a little chat here, mate. I didn't realise that you'd been letting it slip. Just have a little word with you. Come on, pick it up. Pick it up. I believe in you, Giacomo. You've got a lovely name, a lovely hairstyle, a lovely nationality as well. Just use all 17 of that finishing and we'll be Gucci. Turnbull wants an improved offer for Leskinen. I mean, following his recent... We lost 3-0. We lost 3-0. Now, granted, he did get a 6.8. But can you sack him, mate? Jarno, my friend. Get rid of him. Get rid of them. See you later. Was it Sophia Turnbull? Take that, Sophia. She has an unfriendly relationship with me. Does she have any of my other players on her books? Because I might need to have a word with them about getting rid of her. None. Oh, wait, no. Andre does... I mean... Well, that's not a problem, is it? Andre Dazelle sat in the museum with Sophia by his side. Not scared about that. I'd be a little bit more worried if one of our key players was also under her agency. But we're fine. We're fine. I can't believe the cheek of it. We lose 3-0 and you want a new contract. I mean, he is on £20,000 a week, isn't he? But he's got 3.5 years left on his current deal. But he is listed as a world-class player. Mate, Yarno, how much do you want? I can't give you... important player, come on, accept that. You bugger. Get rid of that. Well, you're only to 2037. That's only a 1-year extension. No, you can wait a little while. We're not having this talk now, we'll have it later. And by later, I mean in 2 years' time. Right, okay, we've got Manchester United. It's 11 days away. I'm going to be taking my time, I think, through the transfer window. So we're going to jump forward to it. Maybe we will have spent some money because I have got £37 million in the bank and some wage budget excess, thanks to the sale of Maggi and just the excess wage budget being able to rejig it around. There are some players I have been looking at. I know loads of people have been saying, Jack, you need to get Verm. All your scouts are recommending him. I would love to sign Patrick Verm. I really would. But he wants £140,000 a week. And I know someone's going to say, well, you've got the money for that. Why won't you offer him that? I don't really need another striker right now. And additionally, and I'm sure you've experienced this if you manage in the Premier League, once you start offering one player, £140,000 a week, all the other players who have that player's, expectations, to say the star players and important first-team players in this case, they will all expect wages on par with his. So although you could go, you've got the budget to stomach that, the bottom line is that if I sign him for that much, suddenly all the players who consider themselves key players and on par with him will come to me crying that they want as much money as him. And because he is on more than... what he's expecting is almost more than double what 99% of our team is on, that very quickly could just snowball into a horrific wage situation and a load of unhappy players. And... I mean, I hate when Football Manager turns into Morale Simulator. No one wants Morale Simulator. I want Football Manager. And I'm just not going to risk something that could massively upset a load of players. It doesn't feel like the right thing to do. But anyway, we're going to go forward. We've got Manchester United. We beat them away from home. Let's go and beat them at home, shall we? Now, we need to bounce back. We need a win here. Actually, let's just see. How are they going to lose to Villa? Villa, can you do us a favour before I jump forward? Come on, Villa. Come on, the Villa. I've never been this excited for an Aston Villa result to come through. Except when I maybe have them on my... I mean, you've let me... They've let me down there. They are in the relegation zone. I don't know what I was expecting. Right, let's go forward. We've got a week and a half to get through. Manchester United at home. It's going to be a big one. Okay, guys, so we are back here for the second game of today's episode. And, well, it's not against Manchester United. It's against Liverpool. So, yes, after everything that's happened... My game against Manchester United got postponed, didn't it? As a result, we're coming back for a slightly different game. It means we've gone slightly further through the January transfer window, and we have to talk about this. First and foremost, something that I don't think I ever addressed in a video, which is a little bit shameful. Smolyo moved to Liverpool in the summer. I did talk about it on my Discord server, which, if you're not part of, feel free to check it out in the link down below. We have a Park to Prem spoiler channel. I kind of, put little bits of behind-the-scenes stuff. But yes, he left it in the summer for £38 million. So we actually received £19 million of that money. You can see, since he's gone to Liverpool, despite the fact they're going very strong in the league, it's not the best average rating. Although when you look for his history of average ratings, it's quite a typical Football Manager goalkeeper thing, isn't it? Let's be honest. If a goalkeeper gets above a 7.0, they're the world's best goalkeeper. But yes, he is in the media Dream 11. But look at this. Leskinen is in the Dream 11, which is absolutely awesome to see. Obviously, I really, really rate this guy. I think he's absolutely superb. But there's another name that's here at centre mid, and you don't know his name because I've just signed him. Andrew Eric. Wow, let's talk about this guy because he's absolutely nuts. And I don't need another centre mid, but you know what? When you see a player as good as this, you kind of look at this kind of player and you go, he's the player who can win me a Premier League. He's 19 years old. He looks absolutely insane. I mean, you don't need me to say it, really. Let's be honest. He's 19 years old. Model citizen personality. We're going to play him at centre attacking mid. You can see we've signed him for £22.5 million. He got a goal and assist on his debut. We will talk about that in a second. And yeah, I feel like he is just going to be absolutely nuts. It's going to be interesting to see with him playing as the centre attacking mid, but with the player trait gets into opposition area, how he functions within our system. Because I think as far as advanced playmakers go, he's absolutely incredible. But obviously it is an issue that we've always had with centre attacking mids. So if this guy can't perform at centre attacking mids, I am just going to shrug my shoulders and say they're broken in this Football Manager, don't play them. And if that is the case, well, I will reevaluate things. But to be fair, the system as a whole is working great, and average ratings aren't really the be-all or end-all of Football Manager. But first impressions, pretty positive on the whole. Obviously, we have brought him in and we are overburdened with central midfielders. So with that in mind, I have been looking to make some moves. And well, we have already made some moves. We sold Victor Manuel Alvarez. Now, I know this is going to upset some people, but he has left us to go to Monaco for £15 million. Now, obviously, you look at it now and he's valued at £20 million and it doesn't look that great. But let's be honest, you can see here, looking at his current ability and potential ability, he was only ever going to be a backup for us. He has injury proneness as well as a potential issue. At 23 years old, it's not like he's going to improve a hell of a lot. For a player we brought in for £500,000, a player who's only played 5 matches so far this season, to get £15 million feels pretty good, especially when you consider that we've just brought in Andrew Eric for £22.5 million. And I mean, that's just as a direct comparison, just because I want to feel even better about myself. Here you go. Here is them head to head. I know which I would rather have, and I think you guys probably do too. But we are still a little overburdened with midfielders, especially with the addition of Useless. So another deal that I'm looking to do is move out GCL. Now, I had some interest from some Chinese clubs at the start of the month. Unfortunately, he's had a few injuries. You can see he's twisted his ankle twice, kind of back to back, which is a tiny bit of a concern that could become a recurring injury. However, there's no one who really wants to bid on him right now, which is a bit of a shame. But Porto have made an offer to loan him to the end of the year, pay for all his wages, and also pay him £100,000 a month, as a transfer fee to us. So we're not going to have to worry about his wages, which is good. I'm hoping he can have a really strong second half of the season, playing super regular football, and then potentially we can move him on. It's crazy because he is an incredible player, but he's never really hit the form that I hoped he might for us. Given the fact he's so injury prone, and given the fact that we have now got Andrew Eric in, who, by all accounts, is just a better player, in my opinion, it just kind of makes sense to move GCL on. There isn't really a transfer move available right now. From my own experience, and I'm sure you've experienced this as well, generally speaking, teams spend more money in the summer transfer window. They've often eaten up all their budget over the summer coming into January. So as a result, I always felt like it was going to be tough to move him on. Of course, with us loaning him out, if he absolutely explodes and turns into this insane player during his loaning spell, well, he's our player next season, so it's not exactly the end of the world. But it just kind of makes sense from the perspective of keeping the squad in balance. Still, when you look at things, we do have a fair few centre mids, and that is a fair acknowledgement. However, I would say there's a fair few players here who, will be playing for the reserve team fairly regularly. Players like Christian Castro, more than happy to have him available for the under-23s and have him just gaining a little bit of first-team experience, benefiting from our first-team squad's personality and such. And hopefully he'll just continue to develop, not playing at the highest level of football. I have made one more signing that kind of gets completely eclipsed by Andrew Eric. It's Kevin Kaiser here, who is a Dutch player. You might remember him. I've talked about him a lot before. I see him as the long-term deep line playmaker option in this team. He's 19 years old. He's absolutely incredible. He was, of course, at Groningen. We approached the signing. We beat out the likes of AC Milan, Real Madrid. I can't remember the other two. There were some big names there. It was the big household names of Europe. I have had to overpay on his wages. There is no denying that. But considering we've brought him in on essentially a free transfer, we paid £2.4 million to make the transfer happen now. I feel like that's a crazy bargain buy for a player who is, without a doubt, going to be a world-class deep line playmaker in years to come. A player who we very thoroughly scouted. Excited to see how he gets on, and we are already training him now to play the defensive mid position, because obviously that is where I like my deep line playmaker to play in this system. It's very essential to how we play, with the wing-back splitting and playing the stay wider instructions on each of them. The deep line playmaker slots in between, and obviously that just wouldn't work with them higher up the pitch. Hello folks, apologies for the abrupt edit, but this is post-episode Jack. During episode Jack forgot to mention the Aston Villa game that he did play between the Liverpool game and the Man City game. You can see it in the background now. It was a hard-fought game. Goals galore. It finished 3-3. Eric scored a very nice goal, which I thought was the winner to make it 3-2. They pegged us back, though, once too many times. Dean Henderson in goal for us didn't exactly cover himself in glory. Unfortunately, Morrigan was out sick. And with that result, we have slipped down the table and now are looking down the barrel of, well, a potential 5th place. Anyway, enjoy the rest of this episode. Pretend this never happened. I hope you like that match. Andy Eric, show us what you're made of. But anyway, for today's game against Liverpool, a bit of a weird situation, unfortunately. Morrigan is injured, and I'm going to chance it. He's actually been sick. It's not like he's had a physical injury. Let's hope he doesn't infect our defence, as we've got Auger and Serreta there. Serreta back from suspension. Why is he back from suspension? I swear he said he had a 2-game suspension, but we've only played 1 game. Bizarre. Answers on a postcard if you know what's happened there. Serreta, by the way, worth a mention, improving an absolutely crazy amount. I love this man so much. His marking was a glaring weakness for so long. I was revelling in this earlier. His marking's gone up by 3 since he joined us. And in fact, you can see here, over the last 18 months that he's been at the club, unprecedented growth, obviously largely spurred on by just how regularly he's been featuring in the first team. Hopefully that can continue for the foreseeable future. I mean, his potential ability compared to his current ability makes me feel like there is still room for him to grow, which is, of course, very exciting, especially given the fact he has signed a new deal at the club. We've got Mateus Aurelio at right back, Leskinen in the centre. Oggs at left back now is probably the weakness in the team. I am still looking at a left wing back option because we don't really have one. Obviously, we've put Deacon there occasionally, and to be fair, Deacon actually is learning now to play left winger. He's now at an unconvincing level. I mean, slowly but surely. Maybe by the end of the year he'll be there. But yes, I have been looking at some left backs. In fact, it looks like the deal's got rejected on them. So maybe I need to go and look at some more. I was looking at Van Ass here, but they want £20 million. I'm almost of the mindset of I might just stick Deacon in there at this point and just it'll help him develop any affinity with the position that little bit quicker. Of course, this second half of the season is going to be tricky. We're going to have the knockout stages of the Europa League to trickle through. That said, Marlon Ox, on the whole, he's got some decent natural fitness. If he doesn't get suspended and he doesn't get injured, we should be fine. I mean, I should probably go back and look at more left wing backs. I'm going to be honest. I'm having second thoughts now. You can see I have been looking at left wing backs. It is definitely top of my agenda. It's really tricky, though, to get a really good backup fullback who's going to be content to be a backup, especially when you look through some of the players here. Their wages are crazy. You know, I'm really looking for a backup player. There was one lad I was looking at who was playing in Serie A, and now I'm not going to be able to find him because he was kind of hidden halfway down. I think he was playing for Roma, which I realise means that I could find him. He's here, Larisa. He could be a pretty good fullback as a backup option. The only issue is they want £17 million for him, which just feels like a crazy amount for a backup, but I can't find a really good left wing back. I don't know. I mean, how does he compare to Deacon? How does he compare to Deacon? I mean, he doesn't compare to Deacon is the answer. Deacon is such a great player to get in, especially because he's homegrown at club. I don't think people realise that we are actually a little short on the homegrown at club players. Obviously, you need 8 homegrown in country and 4 homegrown at club. So Deacon is actually homegrown at country rather than club. But yeah, if we look at the homegrown status here, we've got the 4 homegrown at club players. That is why Ronnie Williamson is still kicking around. Don't really mention his name a great deal, although with Maggi leaving, he is technically now our 4th or 5th choice centre-back. So if things really go badly, Ronnie might make an appearance, and I don't know when he last played. When did you last play? He last played when we were in the Championship. It would be a bit of an issue if he ends up being needed. You can see here, we've got a load of players trained in Nation, which is good, although a few of these are older players like Dean Henderson, like Brandon Williams. But the good news is, on the horizon, we've got a new wave of players who will be homegrown at club. The obvious issue here is that these are all, for the most part, centre mids. So Palmy wants to loan them out to ensure they're getting regular first-team football for their development. Of course, if I loan them out, they then can't be homegrown at club. So it's kind of a bit of a problem to wrestle with. However, I will say at the moment, with Alvarez going out, with GCL going out on loan as well, there will definitely be first-team opportunities for a lot of these youngsters who have the potential to be homegrown at club, I'm sure, in the coming months. But yes, very long tangent to say, I would now look at Ox and say he's perhaps the weak link in the team. I know some people are going to look at Jackie Auger. I feel like he's doing okay at the moment, and he has actually started to find his feet alongside Serreta, which is great. Anyway, moving higher up the pitch in the centre mids, we're going to go with Andre and McCassie, which is a duo now. I'm going to be honest, I'm convincing myself more and more that a ball-winning midfielder next to Andre might be a magical combo. I feel like they're so good together, quite complementary. Of course, with Andrew Eric now ahead of them, a real spearhead. I'm hoping he's going to bring what I hoped GCL might have brought. Because to be honest, I feel like GCL let us down a little bit. He showed glimpses of it last year against Chelsea, but of course beyond that, underwhelming to say the very least. Anyway, up top for today's game, we've got Shvetsov and Charlie Brown. And the reason we've got Charlie Brown in is because Dylan Turnbull is currently injured. He's out for about the next week, which is a bit of a shame. And with Giacomo Palazzolo just on a goal-scoring drought, Charlie is the man with a plan. And to be fair, he's actually improved a fair bit as of late. I do quite like Charlie Brown. He's the kind of ideal 4th/5th choice striker as far as I'm concerned. A player who is more than adequate for Premier League level, but he's never going to come in, just ask for stupid money and annoy me. I feel like he's quite a sensible player. He's the kind of squad player that you need. You can't have a team full of superstars, otherwise you're dealing with morale simulator and everyone's, being a diva. We've all been there. I must admit, Shvetsov this year has really, really surprised me. He's improved a lot this year, which I didn't think would happen. I felt like once he kind of levelled out a couple of seasons ago, that was going to be that. Worth noting his work rate, and I don't know what's happened here, it's jumped up by 2 in a month, which is really, really unprecedented. That is still only a +1 improvement overall, apparently, although that's not right. I'm looking at the last month. If we look at all time, look at that, that looks good, doesn't it? But yeah, I'm not sure why his work rate's jumped up by 2. I know sometimes players have off-the-field incidents, so I don't know if I missed an inbox item, or maybe it's a squad personality thing rubbing off. But yeah, you can see kind of last year, he kind of levelled out a little bit. There was a patch here where I wasn't really sure there was going to be much more improvement. However, as you can see, just the tail end of this graph, if you really lean into your screen and pick out each individual pixel, he has actually started to improve again this year, which is surprised me because I felt like he had hit a limit. So great to see. He's never been the most technically gifted player, although 15 finishing and 15 passing, 15 technique, and then 14 so dribbling and first touch are still very blooming good. But his mentals and his physicals for an advanced playmaker, an advanced forward, are incredible. And you know what? To have him as a team leader, to have him at 24 years old, I really hope now he's just going to have his entire career at the club. It'd be so satisfying to see a big filled-out history. And I do feel like he's the kind of striker who is more than adequate for a Champions League kind of team competing for the title. But anyway, really happy with our transfer business in terms of getting in Andrew, Eric and Kaiser. I feel like they are 2 super long-term options. The centre-mid position now is really, really stacked. Perhaps a little bit too much so, but at the same time, it's a pretty good problem to have, especially because it's not like we've signed a load of players who are expecting first-team football. We've got a load of youngsters, and actually the challenge for me isn't keeping them happy. It's about ensuring that they all get a fair chance at development. And, that we kind of make the most of them, I suppose. I can't see them coming to me with issues. The issues are going to come off the back of, certain ones potentially not developing due to lack of first-team football. At the same time, however, it's kind of that shotgun approach where even if some players don't quite live up to their billing, I don't know why, let's just hit kickoff, it bugged out there. It's kind of that weird situation where we've got a load of centre-mid, so if 1 or 2 of them do turn out to be duds, it's not really the end of the world. We're not putting all our eggs in a singular centre-mid. I will say, out of all the centre-mids, besides Eric, who we've just signed, who's obviously incredible, Kaiser, I'm really, really interested to see how he gets on. I feel like he's got the real makings of a star player. Oh, sorry, what has happened? I was about to acknowledge the fact I've done exactly what I did against Man City, where I've left us on attacking, playing against one of the big boys, but what the... It's a cross. It's a cross and it's gone in. And I'm a little bit upset. Right, do I want to play the more defensive system? You know what? Do I? I don't know if I do. I don't know. I feel like we should go for them now. I feel like last year when we played them, we went for them. Obviously, Eric, we're going to click on him so we have his name. Oh, my word. I mean, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Introducing Andrew Eric. And even OJ gets the assist. What an insane goal. I mean, if anyone was watching this episode going, why have you got rid of GCL? That's mad. Yes, the keeper has a mare here, but he hits it so hard. It's Smolio spilling it into the back of the net. It's a perfect narrative. Introducing Andrew Eric, everyone. I feel like we're going to get quite well acquainted with him. He's joined us without a release clause. He's only 19 years old. Santos have been robbed as far as I'm concerned. And he's done quite blooming well there, hasn't he? I'm delighted with that. Wow, okay, that was a little unexpected. I was expecting him to blaze it over, but he's only gone and blooming scored it. Anyway, since then, nothing's happened. The whole game has just come to a stop. The players from both teams have mutually agreed to just sit and watch on the big screen highlights of the goal going in again and again and again. At half-time, it's 1-1. We're going to get a little bit shouty. Andrew Eric did get man of the match on his debut against Villa. Is he going to be going for it again? Is he going to show us that centre attacking mids, they're not broken? It's just you've got to be world class. Maybe that's what's about to happen here. Anyway, Smoljo in goal. I mean, he's feeling the pressure at this point, surely, against his former club. Bit of a favourite. I mean, in some ways, he's given us a little gift there, hasn't he? Very kind of him. Anyway, we need to do some defending here as Artigas is bringing the ball forward. Andy Eric, look at him go. I feel like we're just going to end up calling him Andy Eric instead of Andrew Eric. Eric feels a bit too casual, and we already have an Eric with a C. So I feel like Andy Eric is just the de facto name at that point. You just go with it. Of course, we've got Eric and we've got Mini Eric as well. Anyway, Shvetsov, bring it forward, hits it. Smoljo, why are you not letting that one go in as well? It's a good opportunity for us, and to be fair, looking at the stats of this game, it's been very 50-50, a proper ding-dong battle. Could we make something of the corner? Not if we don't beat the first man. Nuhu actually now bringing it away for them. We need to be scared of the counter-attack. Who is that running back? It's Andre. Who else was it going to be? He's missed his tackle. That's why he needs a ball-winning midfielder next to him. They've just skipped past everyone. Good job, Mateus Aurelio, to head it clear. Yeah, Andre is very quick, as you saw there. The whole defending thing, he's not quite got nailed down. Anyway, Mateus Aurelio's picked up an injury. I was about to make some subs anyway. With his injury, we'll bring in Lazarus at right back. I'm also looking at Ox at left back, but I just don't have that plan B. Andre on a booking kind of scares me a little bit, so you know what? We'll bring in Matasevic there. One last sub to our name. Do I want to take off Shvetsov? You know what? I don't just yet. I was thinking about bringing in Palazzolo, but then I'm just thinking about the fact that he's not been very good in training and he's on a goal drought still. I could bring in Son Jung-woo. He's one of the centre mids that we talked about yesterday, who can also play as a striker. But I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. You know what? We're going to go with a double change for now. I feel like Andrei Shvetsov is the kind of player who, even when he's having a bad game, you just leave him on the pitch because you know he's got a moment of magic in him. With the game at 1-1 here with 10 minutes left, this actually wouldn't be the worst result in the world, given the fact that we slipped up against Aston Villa in our last game, which we drew 3-3, which I now realise I just didn't talk about earlier. I'm going to inject that into the edit somewhere, so you will have seen it. But obviously Eric got man of the match in that game. But given that draw and this draw here, we've kind of let ourselves down a little bit, if I'm honest. And we are now slowly losing a bit of ground on the teams ahead of us. You can see people haven't really played an even number of games. It's a bit of a mess. However, we are still within touching distance. There's just a little bit of work to be done now. We've gone from being a team competing at the top to, in the space of 3 weeks, now being a team down in 5th. That is how quickly things are going to change. The good news is we've got a little bit of a gap down to Arsenal, but realistically speaking, we are going to have a really good, rest of the season from this point onwards. Obviously, we were meant to play Manchester United today. You can see that game has been pushed way back. I'm aware that we've got Chelsea and Man United. Part of me wants to do those as a double header. At the same time, we've got Europa League games coming up. I'm really conscious of doing too many episodes over the course of a single season. It can slow down the series a little bit. People lose a bit of interest. So with that in mind, I think we might come back for the Europa League games. Unfortunate result against Man City, definitely could have been better. The Villa game, which, as I said, you won't have noticed it, hopefully, completely forgot to mention because the Manchester United game getting postponed threw me for a loop. But given the 3-3 draw there, and this draw against Liverpool, it's not looking great, is it? We need to try and bounce back. Southampton and Newcastle are winnable games. Chelsea and United are not going to be easy, but I do want to start focusing on the Europa League. So with that in mind, I think next time we'll come back for that, unless you can convince me otherwise. If you really want to see Chelsea and Manchester United, leave a comment about it and upvote all the other comments saying you want to see those games. Otherwise, I will just assume you guys, like me, just want to get more into the meat and potatoes. And by potatoes, I mean the Europa League. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up everything from me. Apologies for the confusion with the Aston Villa match. I'm completely all over the place with the game getting delayed. It's behind the curtain stuff here. Normally, between matches, I just play through them quite quickly. Today, between the first game and the second game that you've seen in this episode, I probably spent about 4 hours doing about a week of gameplay, really thoroughly scouting players, looking for a left-back option, interacting with the Discord channel that I have, just, sharing some screenshots and answering a few questions that people asked. And as a result, just kind of lost a bit of the flow. Anyway, I've rambled on for long enough today. Thank you so much for watching as always. I hope to see you tomorrow. It's me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.